Thank you, Buddha. I got it. I got the button. I know. Oh man, I got everything I said. Anyway, I didn't say anything important though. There was nothing. None of that was important. That was just me talking about. I fixed the YouTube problem, so I'm on YouTube again, and it's got the wrong title. Oh, you know what? I know what I did. Okay. No, no, I don't know what I did. But anyway, I was geeking out. I was geeking out. I was geeking out. I was I want to see what y'all want to talk about today. For the most part, I think about our toxic world, you know, where we're heading today. You want to keep going this direction, and I'm not talking about radioactive waste, and I'm not talking about chemtrails, and I'm not talking about putting pesticides in the food and spraying herbicides on your sidewalk and spraying neonicotinoid pesticide because you got a few bees around your house. So you thought I was talking about government. I'm not talking about government. I'm talking about us all. I'm not talking about dropping white phosphorus on children. I'm not talking about dropping bombs all over this planet every 12 minutes. I'm talking about poisoning the ocean, destroying the reef systems. I guess what I'm thinking about, and I'm not just talking about toxic relationships, right? The toxic relationships we have with government, the toxic relationship we have with the FBI, KGB, CIA. I think somebody said KGB is gone. I don't know. Who knows? So I'm not even talking about that. I just think that in general, toxic marriages, look at the divorce rate, toxic relationships with our kids. Look at that. Like socially, chemically, biologically, physically, we're just in this great place of mass ignorance, and we're fighting to keep heading in the wrong direction. Like, you know, you got the hate Trump thing that's going on. That's why I really can't watch the news. It's so difficult sometimes because the whole hate Trump thing, and it's you don't have to love him or dislike him. It's not going to fix anything. And then it's like it's become a religion and a political platform to hate this guy, which is kind of crazy within itself. And I love psychology and to look at it. And it's kind of creating this reverse, almost protect Trump thing, because you feel sorry for him because the bastards on the other side who's doing the same stupid stuff that he's doing are fighting him. And it's just this, yeah. Yeah. We're just in this crazy. I need some music. I need some good music. Hold on. I can't even talk about this. It's just, we keep going in this direction of just mass immaturity. I got something nice I can play in the background. I need something nice because y'all silly. So we're talking about what y'all want to talk about. So I kind of did avoid the news a little bit this morning because there are big benefits to getting your news from social media. There are big benefits to getting your news not from a network. If you do watch that TV news, watch all the channels. Don't watch just some of them because it'll make you stupid. But what I see is that they try to drive us in certain directions, right? They try to drive your intellect and drive what you think. But if you're getting it from social media, your friends are filtering it, and all your friends aren't like bobbleheads. You know, the bobblehead toys that go like that. You know, all your friends are critical thinking, and they're trying to do the same thing too. And they're trying to figure out how the hell do we get out of this toxic social, governmental, relationship, neighborhood, national, just direction that this whole world is going. It breaks down their filters because a lot of it is just driving your mind. Like a lot of it's not lying to you. A lot of it's just giving you certain information. And so you got the people that, oh, Trump is saving the world. People, oh, Trump is destroying the world. Oh, we got to get another Democrat in office so we can keep poisoning the aquifers and dumping pesticides and chemtrails. And, you know, it's just insanity. It's insanity. And that's why I think we're in this place of we have to come back to what we are. And we have to ask ourselves, is this really who we want to be? Is this really why billions of human beings all over this planet have died generation after generation to evolve us, to make technology for the groups and the tribes and to bring everybody forward? And did we do all of this? Did they do all of this so we could piss it all away. Did they? Is that a wise allocation of all the death that's come before us? Is that a wise allocation of all the struggle that's come before us? Like, I like to think about, those who struggled the hardest, and absolutely those who struggled the hardest have been women. Always have been. I don't care what anybody has to say on that one. To me, that it's not even a debatable topic, right? Because no matter how bad your group, whatever little crazy, ignorant group tribe you want to associate with, no matter how bad they've had it, there are always women in that group who had it even worse, right? So did they go through all that they have so we could piss it all away today? Our toxic world. When I say we're in a toxic world, I mean everything, in every way. This is all toxic. But you think about the toxins in the environment. Where'd they come from? We are socially toxic. Our brains are toxic. Intellectually, they don't even function anymore. There are very few who even utilize critical thought anymore. There are very few of us who even have the wide enough information. I know, I'm running my mouth. I meant to look, this is going to be a comment drive direction. I'm gonna let y'all drive the discussion today. Because I did look at the news, and I don't see anything that I really think is going to focus us in the right direction. Horrible things are happening. You got the kids, the football team in Thailand, they haven't found them yet. They're still locked in the cave and, fearful that they may have not made it. But, they climbed in the cave. I think most of them were like 13 to 16. There's like 30 of them. Waters are rising. They suspect they're in the cave in a pocket being trapped while the waters are coming up, still raining. They got the military trying to find them. So whatever you do, you want to say some sort of a prayer or take a moment of silence, however you think well about them. Hopefully those kids are okay. The whole Yemen child soldier thing. And so you've got all the child soldiers in Yemen. They're going back and forth about that, about who, I guess the Yemenis or the Houthis have the most child soldiers. And of course they do, because they're defending their homeland. They talk about who's killing the most children over there. Of course, the Saudis, the Americans, the UK, France, and Al-Qaeda, one big conglomerate, massive billion-dollar funded military that's killing all those people. They're, of course, killing more children. I think that was a UN report that came out that I was looking at. Toxic. We got to pull up. We have to pull up. We need to bioengineer gills for the next generation. Get back to the ocean for a while. Plemmy K, I'm with you. Water levels are rising. But let's not focus on that, right? Water levels are rising, but we got to fight each other. Toxicity. The earth is being poisoned because we're poisoned. We're poisoned. Psychologically, physically, the food we eat. People talk about how the cows and the chickens and the pigs and livestock, before you eat them, they torture them and they kill them. And that pain gets in the food, that toxicity, the energy. And then we eat it. We are a toxic earth, but we're not supposed to be. Radioactive waste, no group doing anything to clean it up. I know some people think that there are groups that are fighting to stop climate change. No, there's not. No, there's not. If any group ever gets big and they're actually fighting to protect the environment, they get wiped off the face of the map, where they get co-opted and billionaires come in and they make it about something else. There's just all of this hypocritical prejudice on all sides, whether it's the left or the right. They all want the same thing because they all work for the same banks. That's why I always think about the banks. It's just, you'll have to go back and learn about the children in the cave. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It is heart-wrenching. And to be honest with you, maybe that's why I'm in the mindset I'm in this morning. I can't stand to think about kids in trouble. And meanwhile, While we could have, and you got Australian divers over there looking for them now. There's another dive team from another nation. But when human beings are in trouble, kids, like all focus should be there. But we're not there because we're toxic and we're starving the kids in Yemen, starving kids all over the planet in America, Mississippi, and we're bombing them instead of building equipment to go help these kids get out of a cave. And it's insanity. And this is where we're going. Yes, Emma, it's a toxic mentality. We have toxic behaviors. We have toxic thoughts, and it breeds toxic relationships with our friends and family and everything else. And that's why the world is the way it is. The world didn't just happen this way. We are pushing the world to be more and more increasingly toxic. Grown common sense, Mark says, yeah, we don't have it. There's nothing common. We're not a community. Right? That, the construct of the word community and common sense, common. We don't have these things in common because we've got all of these violent tribal groups around the world who think they're intellectuals, but they're monsters. And they might be intellectuals, but they're intellectual monsters that have this selective outrage thing, selective care of who's most important. Like the police shooting in Pittsburgh. They stopped, the protesters shut down the road, and they got attention to the matter, and now they're prosecuting the police officer, in which I got a little more on the case where, he was 2 hours on duty, so he was just sworn in, and within 2 hours, he already shot his first citizen. Killed him, shot him in the back 3 times, running away. Toxic. Oh, well, he's a police officer. I'm on his side. The kid must have done something wrong. He must have done something wrong to deserve to be shot. Toxic. Oh, they're shooting them because they're all black. Toxic. They're shooting them because they're poor. Toxic. Oh, we're going to put him in prison the police officer in prison for the rest of his life. Toxic. Why? Because none of that has anything to do with the root cause. None of that has anything to do with fixing the actual problem. So it's going to happen again. As much as you want to cry about a child being shot in the back 3 times, absolutely no effort, zero, is being put into preventing it from happening again. So we keep marching in this toxic direction. And the scary part is we know this is toxic. We know this is sick. But it feels better to go after the police. It feels better to go after the president. It feels better to go after whoever you want to go after, instead of looking in the mirror and going after yourself. It comes down to honest showing of our heart and soul to everyone. Yes, Georgia, but not everybody's strong as you, It's like to expose who you are to the world. There are too many people who they're not strong as you, Georgia. They're scared. They're scared to say things like they weep. They have fears. When people can relate to you, you can have a dialogue, right? But everyone, they like to puff up their chest, be tough. They like to, I don't cry, I'm tough and I'm angry and blah, 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 blah. But you got to open up your heart and you expose yourself to other people. I'm just looking at comments today, we're in a toxic world. We have toxic relationships. We eat toxins. We shove toxins down other people's throat. I'm in this discussion I'm trying to get out of with vaccines. And it's just like, you're not getting the point. It's not about vaccines. The problem with vaccines aren't vaccines. The problem with vaccines are you forcing them on people. That's the problem. You're in a religion that has taught you to have faith in something, evidence of something you can't see. The scientists can't see and the doctors can't see. It's about corporations forcing people to buy their product. That's just stupid. Has nothing to do with vaccines. You might believe in the vaccine religion. You might believe in the bare aspirin religion. You might believe in the chemotherapy drugs. That's not the point. The point is forcing them down people's. It's always toxic to take away somebody else's self-determination. You can't take other people's self-determination. You have to let them. That's going to create a toxic environment. Who likes to be told what to do? One thing we learned as a kid. One of the things the teacher used to, I don't know, the teachers still teach this. You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. That's what we used to say all the time. Do they raise kids now? You the boss of me. Yep, you the boss of me. Yep, all of y'all the boss. If you're bigger than me, stronger than me, you got more money in your bank account, you're a corporation, you're a bank, you're a government. Yep, you the boss of me. What you want me to do? Want me to jump? Want to jump on one leg? Want me to hop? Want me to sound like, bark like a dog? You know? You know, do we still even teach kids to be independent, critical thinkers? I'm afraid that we don't. And it walks us further into this toxic world. Somebody saying, hey to Chris on YouTube. Isha saying, what's up to Chris? What's up, Chris? That's funny. Yeah, they can see your comments in there. I don't have the comments going back the other way, but MMT, modern money theory, Miss Tree's talking about. You know, I don't know a whole lot about MMT. You know, like I said, and my stance on the whole MMT is that, well, we do, but you brought something up interesting too. Because, right, we have a toxic financial system. We have a toxic crony capitalistic system that runs the whole world, right? Toxic. You know, are we supporting the ideas of walking in the right direction? Are we supporting the people who want to keep everything exactly the way it is today? And who are you? Where are you voting with your dollars, your likes, your shares? Which I, by the way, appreciate y'all in inviting and sharing. I think we have the message that we definitely have to get out to a greater sense because things aren't getting better. Now, mind you, things aren't as bad as the television makes them seem. I had a good discussion about that yesterday, wherein if you watch the news, you know, I mean, you can almost see it in people's eyes. And they think the world is falling apart. Like if you're not in America, as an example, you think America was just ripping apart at the seams, just racism running rampant, people fighting, screaming, yelling in the streets, everyone. No, it's not. It's not. Most people you know are not stupid. Most people you know aren't ignorant on either side of the little silly fight. And they're very few and far between. Most people I know get along every day. They love each other. They work together. They have good little conversations. They share coffee and tea. But the TV, maybe it's energy. Maybe it's energy. Maybe it is a spiritual thing. Maybe if the TV constantly walks people into these negative emotions, they're actually making the world more toxic. Maybe they're taking in some negative manifestations and they're putting them back out in the world, because I can almost see it in people's eyes when you talk to them and they think the world is falling apart. You know, it's funny. People come to me and they think they have to say things how they hate Donald Trump just to make me feel better, because they think that because when you look at me, you think I think the world is falling apart. It's not. But it's getting worse because we believe it is. Maybe we're manifesting this toxic apocalypse. Maybe by taking in all of that negativity and not sharing love and joy with other people, maybe it is making it worse. Seems my tears flow very easy and free flowing these days, even while meditating. Yes, Sandra, because you're a human being and you always put your heart out there where it should be. Where it should be. Tears, having tears doesn't make you weak. If anything, having tears makes you strong. It means you have a heart. It means that thing is pumping and it's solid. If you don't have a sense of feeling that you need to weep about some children being locked in a cave in Thailand, or kids being shot by adults with guns, whether they have a badge, a uniform or not, or gang colors, if you don't feel a sense of hurt in that, kids being starved so they will be child soldiers, right? You know, that means that you're human and you're supposed to put that out, right? Because when you do that, like what Sandra's saying, it actually takes down the aggressive, the evolutionary need for somebody who wants to fight you, figure out what tribe you're in so they can get their fight on with you. And they see, there's something about I watched a lecture once, something about the look of a child's face that brings us into a place of empathy. There's something about the look on a person's face when they have tears and they're sad that does that for us. And we all need to be weeping. We all need to be weeping, not only for human beings and for not the planet. The planet's gonna be okay. The planet don't care. When we're gone, the planet's gonna be fine. You know, but even for the animals in the environment. I realized yesterday that joy had left my life. Then I realized, oh, hell no. I need to choose to be joyful every day. Thank you, Alicia. Absolutely. Joy is a choice. It is a choice. Some of the happiest people I know, don't have a pot to piss in nor a window to toss it out, living deep in the country in a rural environment. You would think they were poor. Some of the happiest people I know do live in the inner cities where they've carved out a little piece of joy and happiness. You know, unfortunately, kids are born in bad, devastating places. But you know, it does like a little good to know that joy is a choice. You look at some of the kids, and I think the picture might have been, it was either Iraq or Afghanistan. One of these countries we're destroying for profit for the banks, pretending we're bringing democracy and freedom. Watching the kids play soccer, rubble all around them, picking up little shards of buildings, and they're like playing, you know, I guess like a rugby type game with it. Like they're finding joy in immense chaos and devastation that the adults have brought down on their communities for the sake of banks and Wall Street. If they can find their joy, Alicia, if children can find joy amongst war and devastation, how can you not? Because I think that's how one of the ways we elevate and we vibrate the planet higher, right? People pick that up from you. Like I think about biophotons, and you know, there's a saying, there are a lot of cultures who believe that when you have your picture taken, it takes your soul. You know, now mind you, I think that might have been just a misunderstanding of the technology a long time ago when somebody said that. But think about it, a little deeper than that. Think about biophotons. Think about every time you meet somebody, you are sending off signals to them, not just from an energy perspective, but from a light perspective. Every cell in your body emits 1,000 pulses of light per second. So every time you meet somebody, outside of the words that come out of your mouth, the look that's on your face, they're picking up flashes of light from your body. You ever wonder, why does a dog know that a human being has cancer? How does it have the ability to sense that? What information are we picking up from not even actually talking to people, but just being around them? Are we somehow imprinting these light flashes within mirrors? Is that what ghosts are? Is this why we imprint on furniture and mirrors and all the stuff they're tracking on these shows? Is it possible that when we meet people, these flashes of light either bring them up or bring them down also? Does it make them more toxic, or do they pick up more joy from you? Do they pick up your fears? You know, these things perhaps are evolutionary. You know, you got to elevate higher. You got to vibrate higher. Get rid of the toxicity. Sometimes it means you got to get rid of a toxic relationship. Sometimes you got to get rid of the toxic news. Sometimes you got to get rid of anything that's toxic that brings you down and spend more time with things that bring you up. Alicia said it. Joy absolutely is a choice. It's a decision. You can decide to be joyful or you can decide to be miserable. If children can do it, of course we can. Ellen's talking about tears are a release of the toxins. Absolutely they are. We got to get rid of the toxins out of our body. All the fluids we release, we expel toxins. That's why you got to drink a lot of water. Maybe we're going to this metaphorical place of we need more hydration on our planet, our world. Even as the water levels rise, we need to hydrate more and help people to expel their toxins. We have toxins that are collecting in the breast tissue, toxins, metals collecting in the brain, breathing them in through our nose. We need to bring more hydrogen to our environments, more water to our communities, and flush out the hate, flush out the anger, flush out that Trump hate. Because you're not doing anything but bringing everybody down. We don't want to hear it. We don't care. Where's Ty with the nobody cares bear? Nobody cares. Nobody who's actually thinking cares. Ignorance is damaging as all get out. It is, Miss T, isn't it? Ignorance is destroying our planet. Ignorance is destroying our life. Ignorance is destroying whatever the kids are going to have next. Smell. Yes, Plummy K, it's possible people pick up on the smell, right? The dogs they can smell the cancer. They can smell something that's being emitted. They have those senses. And I wonder, did we not have these senses before? You know, did we not evolve the ability to tune in to who's hurting in our tribal group, who's in pain, who we need to do something for? So, because we are a collective, we always have been. We evolved to work together. We didn't evolve to fight each other. You know, some human beings are, I guess, the empaths. right? They have the ability to pick up on that pain and that anger and swallow it. I think we got to spend more time trying to understand the things that aren't mainstream, right? The energy workers and the empaths. We have to learn to bring more joy in people's lives. There was times where we used to bake apple pies and take them next door. Make sure it's an organic apple, by the way. We used to have block parties. Everybody get together in the community and spend time. It's your job to go out and heal the world. It's your job to heal the relationships with people. It's your job when you see the immigrants, you don't throw things at them. You do something for them, right? We all exist as a vibrating community all over this planet. It's completely scientific. Well, there's definitely indicative information, evidence that we are all quantumly entangled, that we are all actually one massive organism. And the more anger and hatred we show in one direction, the more it manifests on us. Miss T said, my young daughter's lymph nodes went crazy a few years ago due to Gardasil vaccine. Thought she had blood cancer, leukemia, despicable. Yes, Miss T. And you know what? And when I think about like the conditions and the diseases that people have, maybe we don't spend enough time talking about health and nutrition, right? Because it's a double whammy. We're putting these toxins in our bodies that are not natural. This is not natural vaccination, and they're not introducing anything in a natural way into your bloodstream. So it's not anything your body evolved to tolerate or deal with. Now, do some of them work? I don't know. But what I know is some are causing a lot of pain. Some are causing a lot of problem with children. And so all of them have to be recalled and tested, but none of them should be mandatory. But it's not just the things we take in, the toxins we take in, but it's the fact that we don't take in enough water. We don't take in enough natural, healthy things. We don't have enough good friends in our life. We don't have enough good people who talk about positive things. We don't have enough people who don't take sides and make things worse. We don't have enough de-escalators. And so the same way that the vaccines cause problems and the toxins are the social toxins being dropped out by governments and media and leaders and other people, we need to take in the good things, right? If we don't have that balance, it ends up in death, right? Not just deaths of our bodies, but death of the planet, death of the ecosystems, death of everybody in our tribe and the others that you're fighting on the other side too. See the floods of hate and drain it one person at a time. Yes, Carrie, when you meet people, just pull that plug. Pull the plug. Try to pull that plug if you can. Some people, they'll hide their plug because they want to keep their hate. They want to keep their anger. They want to keep that fight because somebody's actually convinced them that the battle is good, that verbal violence is a good thing, emotional violence is a good thing. What's significantly more devastating? I used to spend a lot of time with domestic violence. The most violent part of domestic violence was not the actual physical violence. It was the psychological violence. It was the violence that made people feel that they should be beat up, that they should be abused, that when that happened to them, it made them feel like they were loved. There are people who actually do get off on beating others up, and there are others who get off on being beat up, right? Like that psychological toxic sickness. And I'm not going to get too deep into the psychology of it because that's not, I'm not a professional in that. I just listen to the professionals and I repeat what they say. Somebody says, oh yeah. So you're intelligent. No, actually I'm not. I really am not. I'm a parrot. I've grown old enough to know that you don't mock people who know more than you do on a certain topic. And when they're talking, shut up. Shut up. Listen. Let them talk. You don't know what they know. It's like, I don't know if Brother Emmerich is around. I'm going to do a talk with Brother Emmerich. We're going to have a discussion about the Bible. What is my background? Oh, I've read that book cover to cover more times than I'll ever admit. I was raised in a Bible thumping family. They beat the hell out of you. The baby was born, they took the Bible out, smack him in the butt. No, doc, don't use your hand, use the Bible. Shut. You know, I used to lead Bible studies, and I used to study often, very often, more. I used to live in the church. I used to be in the church every day. I was a deacon or deacon in training, as they called it, a trustee, and, you know, I all kind of things every day, all day, led to Sunday schools. But Brother Emrys knows something I don't know. So why in the world am I going to take my ego and put it out in front of him and want to fight him on something? That brother knows a lot. You ever watch him posting? That is a very deep individual. You know, it's not about fighting people. It's about listening to people and educating yourself, learning what you don't already know from a community you haven't spent much time with, from a human being who's been off on a different part of this planet who learned something. De-escalators are primed safely to, de-escalators are primed safely to handle humanity's crises. Teach this in every capacity as possible. Sister Carrie, you just nailing it. You just nailing it. Because they are. And the funny thing is see how the Bible was a topic, you know. The Bible tells people, for those of y'all who actually want to follow that thing, it tells people that you're supposed to be a peacemaker, not peacekeeper. The peacekeeping is passive. That means that you sit back and you don't do anything. You're supposed to be a peacemaker. And right, I didn't say war maker. Did I say war maker? I didn't say war maker, did I? No. Peacemaker. You're supposed to go out and find people you offended and heal them. Heal the offense that you caused. And even if you didn't cause the offense, you're still supposed to go out and find people. That's what being Christian actually is. Not the demonic, psychopathic thing that's running around the world and the people who are pretending. The modern not Christians with the Christian microphones pretending to be. They're demons. Good morning, Brother Kevin. Good morning. Good morning. Pain began in the hip hop bones. Everyone remained in denial. From the lymph nodes all over began swelling. Still has issues, but in vegetarian and bone pain has subsided to a good degree. Well, a lot of pain, right? A lot of pain in the body comes from inflammation, right? And inflammation is just your immune system trying to fight off something that shouldn't be there, right? Inflammation isn't bad, and that's toxic within itself. The way that the medical industry attacks inflammation, that's a toxic practice, and it's stupid. Why? Because what is inflammation? That's your white blood cells, your immune system trying to fix a problem. Why in the hell would you attack something that's trying to fix the problem? Now, mind you, there's inflammation that'll kill you. You know, and that's when medicine comes in. That's when you shut up, take a back seat, and you listen to the modern medicine say do what it has, because it'll save your life. But if you can handle the pain, right? If you can handle the inflammation, you're not supposed to be fighting. That's just dumb as, you know, you pull your car over by the mechanic and the mechanic's working on your car and somebody comes by and shoots the mechanic. Why would you shoot the mechanic and think the car is going to be okay? Oh, the car would have magically fix itself. No, that's not how it's not how the body works. Your immune system evolved to be your best friend. Your immune system evolved to expel toxins. Your immune system evolved to destroy toxins. Why would you destroy your immune system? How logically does that make any sense? You know, and it's a delicate balance and dance. You know, but when your life is at risk, when your life isn't at risk, you know, inflammation, it's fixing you. Those are your healers. Those are your mechanics. Those are the little cells, creatures in your body, whatever you want to call them, that actually allow us to live in this toxic world. Because every day I'm breathing in right now, no matter where you are, unless you're like way deep in a third world country where America's not dumping all of our toxic waste, you are breathing in toxins right now. And if you didn't have that immune system, you'd be dead. I'm glad to hear she's recovering. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're glad to hear that. She's on a recovery path. Blessed are the peacemakers. Thank you, Dottie. Yes, blessed are the peacemakers. There's something that, you ever notice that when you do something good for people, it makes you feel good? You ever notice that? I talked about a long time ago. We're not violent creatures. Anybody who tells you human beings are violent is stupid. They are stupid from an evolutionary perspective, and they are stupid from a brainwashing today perspective. We have the evolutionary evidence, the biological evidence that we are creatures of collaboration and sharing and goodness and kindness. Because when you do something good for somebody, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like $1,000,000. You give somebody a gift that they needed, and you didn't know the pain in their life, and they just broke down and tears came out of their eyes because you gave them a jacket. It makes you feel good. You healed something. Biophotons in their face or whatever's happening, the energy you're picking up. When you fight with someone and you argue with someone because you're in some sort of a political debate, or you just want to be right, you just want to take your ego zipper down and slap it out on the desk. I told you Trump was a bad guy. I told you Trump was a good guy. I told you it's all Congress. I told you Russians fixed the election. You want to get out there and fight. You feel like crap even if you win the fight. Even if you win the heated debate, you still feel bad. You damn sure don't feel good. That's the evidence that we are not violent creatures. We're not warring creatures. We never have been. Evolutionary, we've learned to do it to survive. It's the only reason violence exists on the streets. Like, again, they talk about the kid in Pittsburgh that they murdered. Oh, well, you know, he was suspected to be in a gang shooting. I get that. Okay, but did he have a gun at that time? No, he didn't. So why did you shoot him in the back? Because you're a psychopath, or you were scared and you shouldn't have had a badge to begin with. But it's not all your fault. It's mostly the politicians' fault and the people who put all this crap together that chasing people with guns is a good idea. It's not a good idea. It never is. You know, whose fault is it? The people who don't focus on, well, why do kids join gangs to begin with? Because they're born in toxic communities, right? Like that's the thing. Why, you know, and it's not a racial thing, right? Let's go to the poor, impoverished communities in the Midwest. Why would somebody run moonshine? You know, I know that's probably showing my age. Do people still run moonshine? I don't know. I forgot. I don't know. That's my age coming out. You know, but it's scarcity. They're trying to survive. Doesn't make them bad people. And no, the cops shouldn't be after them with guns. This is why I'm talking about that 90-some% of all the laws got to get deleted anyway, because all they did was outlaw survival. So people do things, and guess what? If police officers are chasing them with guns, people run. That's what they do. They say, well, why did he run from the police? Because they're scared of the police. They're supposed to be. They have guns, and all they do on TV every day is watch the police shooting people. Like really think about it. It makes really good sense if you think about it. But we can fix the toxic environment that people are born into, these impoverished and toxic environments. We can fix them, but we have to focus on the actual problem. And the problem isn't that the kid joined the gang. The problem isn't that the I want to say, but the problem isn't that the police chased him with a gun. That's mid-tier. I just challenge myself. You know, once again, the problem go down to the root. When you outlaw survival, people, you create a toxic environment. You create a funnel, if you will. You create when you give a human being only one way to go, and you tell them not to go that way, they're not going to sit in a corner and starve and die. They're going to go that way. They're going to join the gang. They're going to pick up the gun. They're going to run the moonshine. They're going to grow their cannabis. They're going to do whatever they have to do to eat and survive, dummy. If we flush out the toxins, everything gets better. The club is not sustainable. We will evolve and earn extinction. Yes, brother Kevin. And it's good to see you on YouTube. We are earning our extinction. We are paying for it. We are earning it. We are doing everything we can because we're not focusing on the toxins, right? And I like how you said club. We're focusing on the other club being poisoned by the toxins also. We're focusing on the other people who are under the chemtrails, who are eating the pesticides, who are eating the herbicides, who are being born in the toxic, impoverished communities where survival is illegal. The Club of Rome is a round table related to the misuse of the environment, and there are lots of other round tables. We don't get a seat on them. No, we don't, Ish. We don't get a seat at all. That is exactly what it is. So I see what you guys are talking about. I love that idea, the Club of Rome, right? Because it's an imperialism club. It is an empire club. And we're not in it. George Carlin always says, and we won't get a seat at the table. We're not even allocated to have a seat. All you're allowed to do is join up with another club who works, or join up with the sub layers that are beholden to a club that's destroying this planet. There are multiples. You know, looking at the Russian oligarchs and the billionaires over there and the Rothschild banks, and whether they're fighting with each other or not, and what nations they own, what governments they own, why the silly people in those governments fight over the presidents and the prime ministers who actually don't get to control what they do. We march into this toxic place because I think it makes money. It makes a lot of power. And people don't think deep enough. They want to stay in that mid-tier instead of actually think about the actual root of the problems. A lot of autoimmune diseases that's interfering with our health. Yes, Sandra, and autoimmunity, oh, is that a thing? Is that a thing? Why in the world are our immune systems going hyperactive? I don't know. Could it be all the toxins in the environment, all the food that we're eating? Could it be all the chemotherapy drugs and the chemotherapy? Could it be all the things that we're developing to fight the immune system? Could there, somebody said yesterday, I forgot who it was. Somebody said yesterday on the thread, was talking about, because it was on the vaccine, we were on the vaccine thing, and they were talking about whether or not could there be an epigenetic transgenerational changes to DNA that are happening because of the vaccines, right? Like, what happens if I don't know, let's go out on the ledge for a minute. What if they actually work? I have significant doubts, and there's significant evidence to doubt any have ever worked. But outside of that, is replacing the immune system a good idea? Generationally. Is replacing inflammation, generation, a good idea? Will your body shut down producing what it produces because it's already being made available by a drug that you're taking, a synthetic drug that isn't even the exact same atomic makeup as the natural one? I'm drinking this coffee. I forgot to drink my coffee. And my body stops producing something, which is why you get that coffee hangover afterwards, because I got that caffeine and other things going in. The body's smart, incredibly smart. That's why I said, if you don't look at epigenetics, you've got to look at it. Community, like it's just, there's so much. It's impossible for just a few people to pay attention to all the lectures that are out there and understand this groundbreaking new place that we're going. But every cell in your body is highly intelligent. It's getting information from a source that we don't even know. And it's making decisions for you. It's saying, okay, well, we've got caffeine in the environment, so we'll stop producing this. These creature things are getting these vaccines and these synthetic chemical drugs, and it's kind of replacing this. And so I'll stop doing this. And so next generation, we won't make this, we'll make something else because that's already coming in. And so now your body is becoming dependent. You are making your kids dependent on corporations' products. Is that not a little insane, a little bit insane? Is that not a little psychotic? Like, that's really what it all comes down to, is whether or not we want to change human evolution from evolving to be highly methodically sustainable in the current environment, or are we developing a creature to be more tolerant and change and evolve to maybe even require the toxic environment, maybe to just tolerate it, but to need its presence. How sick is that? How sick it's just. But I think you got to pay attention to what the scientists on the cutting edge of all of this are saying. And that's what the pharmaceutical companies, these chemical companies, will never tell you. They will never put it out there. The fact that a lot of these diseases that we have, they're coming from them. They're coming from epigenetic gene flips that your body, intelligent decisions your body's making, because you can't stop popping the pills in your mouth. You can't stop eating the pesticides on their burgers. You can't stop eating the burgers that are just full of the steroids and all the unnatural things to keep the cow alive, because the cow is such a sickly, devastatingly, horribly abused animal that it just wants to die, but they won't let it die, so they keep pumping full of antibiotics to keep it alive, just to get a burger in your mouth. And then you eat all that animal's pain. The round table is unsustainable. All of these round tables, the people who run the world, who seem to be okay with destroying the earth, destroying us, it's not sustainable. It's not designed to be sustained. It's designed to collapse all life on this planet. Which we were at Waffle Rock yesterday. I suspect we already have a couple times. Emotional trauma is making people sick. It is totally making people sick, Sandra. Absolutely. Survivalist has to have a group to follow. Yes, they do, Mark. When you raise kids, always spot on. When you raise kids in toxic environments and you make them survivalists, they will find a community. It's a guarantee. It is, and that is the behavioral scientist speaking the truth consistently and constantly. When you raise a poor child in a bad place, they will learn to survive. And damn it, they'll find a whole lot of other survivalists with guns where they feel safe to survive. Is walking ourselves socially into this psychological, violent warrior gene evoking transgenerational species a good thing? I guess it is if you think we should go extinct. Melba said, good talk. Change the paradigm needed. Let's all be part of the solution. Yes, Melba, we have to be. I don't think we have another choice. This telling each other what to do thing is not working out well. Melba, we've been trying that for a long time, haven't we? Telling each other what to do, telling each other how to live, telling each other, where to put the genitals, telling each other how they can raise their kids, telling each other what religion they got to be, telling each other. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Definition of insanity, definition of toxic world insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You want to get rid of the toxins? Got to make a change. Got to make a change. And the change is in your mirror. That's why I always end on the mirror. I always end on the mirror, because I'm not telling anybody what to do. Most of anything, I'm telling you the things that I'm trying to do that I've always failed at in the past. It's inside. Fix the pain in your heart. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, Melba, all of this can be fixed tomorrow. All of it. All of it. It's all about people. And this is the biggest problem. Like I said, this toxic world government, whatever it is, this toxic thing that runs everything. Humans are in all of their layers. Human beings are in all of their organizations. Now, the top might be psychopathically corrupt, but everybody within, they're just people. FBI, CIA, all of these groups, they're all full of people. And all it takes is the right thought for people to change path, alter how they vibrate, alter their energy, alter their activity. Tomorrow, literally, everything can change. Everything. Now, is it plausible? I'm a little hippy dippy sometimes. I don't know that it's plausible, but it is possible. And we're supposed to fight the good fight. And that good fight is with ourselves. It's always been with ourselves. The good fight has never been at anybody else's door. The good fight has always been with us. They're coming after everyone's pension and savings accounts. Yes, they are, Werner, because they don't want you to retire. That's not the goal. They need us working. They need human labor to labor and labor and labor and labor until it's gone, until they got robots and software to replace everybody. But short of that, they're going to take your retirement, one, because they want the money. They're greedy, and we're little mini greeters. We collected the money, but they need it. They need the money to overpower the other billionaire, to overpower the other trillionaire. So they come up with schemes and scams to do it. And they do it through all the political parties, all the leaders and politicians, while they tell you and rub your back and, oh, baby, it's going to be okay. We're going to work on this. No, they're not. They're just getting you to focus on the other club so they can take your retirement, so they can rob you blind, smack you in the face, and let your kids walk into massive amounts of poverty. I have my faith. I have my faith, though. I accept my fate more clearly every day. Yes, Carrie, and that is no fear, because you don't have any fear. You know, it's funny. The people I meet are the ones who have the least fear. They tend to be the smallest. There's something there. I don't know what it is. And they actually, most of them actually tend to be women more than men. The men tend to be very scared. I don't know, maybe it's something having to do with physical structure. Maybe if you're bigger, you have more muscles and you solve problems with, your brawn or your violence. Maybe it allows you to remain more scared. Maybe it allows you to hide in that. I don't know. But when you can just stand up and say, you know what, whatever happens, happens. I have faith that I've done the things I'm supposed to do, and if it's my time to go, then I'll go. And maybe there's just a benefit in not having that ability to have that brawn, that violence, where it just evolves you to not have fear. I think about America when it comes to that. Think about that. America can solve its problems with violence. It can send tanks and bombs and drones, explosions and nuclear weapons. It can stay fearful. It doesn't ever have to evolve to be anything better. That systematic governmental thing that runs everything. It can always remain, it can always be the fraidy cat. It can always be scared of everybody. It can invade and murder anything it gets scared of, because we don't force it to be any smarter. It's not like someone who has a smaller structure who has to learn to be a little more methodical. Like, you ever wonder why Putin always says things that are very intelligent and smart, very things that are liberty focused and freedom focused, and he just, and Obama was smart too, don't get me wrong, but Putin made him look like a fool. But I say something positive about Obama every now and then, but he's an intelligent guy, he is. But why did Putin make him look like a fool and just wiped his butt all over the earth? Because Obama maybe picked the wrong government to work for, I don't know. But he picked a government that evolved fear and responses to fear. Everything's a knee-jerk reaction. It doesn't have to be as smart as Russia, that doesn't have as big of a military. It doesn't have to be as methodical as, maybe France or some other nations. It doesn't have to be as empathetic as Venezuela, right? I don't know, there's something there. But you gotta have faith. You have to have faith. I was in a good conversation with a sister yesterday, and she was talking about fear and how there are all these lists, and they're coming for people, and they will be coming for people talking anything that's true or talking anything that's spiritual. But you can't get anywhere if you have that fear. Why do they come for you? They only come for you for two reasons, right? They only put you on those lists for two reasons. One, they know they can shut you up. Or two, they're coming to kill you. That's it. They're coming to kill you. Well, let's say it another way. One, they know they can shut you up. Or two, they're going to forcibly shut you up. Right. Your only safety from all of that nonsense is to not have the fear. You can't be fearful, and that's the power of faith. Faith is a powerful thing, and when I say faith, I'm not talking anything religious. It has nothing to do with religion. Having faith is faith. If you have faith in spirituality, you got faith in vaccines. You poison the children, but faith is a powerful thing. If you have faith that you're doing the right thing. You're not joining a tribe and picking a team and a side. You're doing the right thing for the next generation. You're doing the right thing by your kids. You're doing the right thing for everybody's kids. You don't care what happens next. And that's when they leave you alone. That's when they leave you alone. But that's true strength, like Carrie said it a minute ago. That's real strength, though. That's that solid, that's that woman who's going in to have labor, right? I'm not scared. I'm gonna deal with this pain. Having faith. You got to have that faith. Stop giving that to religion. Faith is not their word. Have faith that you feel good about what you do. There you go. Maybe that's it. That good feeling we feel when we do good things for people. Have that faith that you're doing the right thing. And whatever comes next doesn't matter. Demons all over this planet, whether you aliens or Satan, Beelzebub, whatever you scared of, they're going to do what they got to do. Do it. But you're not going to stop. Keep making the peace. Keep seeking people. If you still got somebody you don't talk to because of this last silly, stupid election where it did not matter at all who won, make peace with that person. Go out and make peace with the person. There are much bigger things at stake. Much bigger things than your ego. The boomers that Carlin complained about must have been the ones that burned the Beatles albums. Sharon. Yeah, I got in trouble for that one. I posted that one because Carlin, he made his little tribal statement, which I thought was funny. But you know, the Generation X or the millennials versus the boomers and how the boomers sold out. And it wasn't all of them, obviously, but you know, it was an important point that he made. You know, where he said that, you know, people who used to get it, people who used to run around and smoke the cannabis and talk about peace and free love and let's build a new earth, let's build a paradigm. What was it called? The age of Aquarius. The people who actually started to see something deeper than this toxic nonsense we live in. They put most of them in prison. They killed a lot of them. And many of the ones that were left sold out. And they bought into the toxins. They bought into the toxic system. They went, cut their hair, got the job, get the interview, got the job, went back to college, and started feeding back into the toxic world. So, of course, Carlin swung at him. You know, he said, you know, the same people who are talking bad about the millennials, you know, the millennials are actually bad because of them. And I don't like to play to them or them the game. I don't like that. But I thought it was funny, Sharon. But there was some truth to it. You know, and there's also a lot of hippies who just went underground. They're like, you know what? I'm checking out. And they just went and they did something else with their lives. I see them coming back, though. And that's what's important. It's important that those boomers come back and join up with the millennials and join up with people who are actually starting to think about this world doesn't work the way that these toxic organizations and guilds and councils and all of this nonsense want it to. That's how the world really works. This is people butch, because I can't say that word, Miss T, but people butch about food stamps when in some states you must live 14% below the poverty level to qualify for less than $70 a month, regardless of your student status or whatever a minimum 20-hour work is required. But you know what, Miss T? When I think of that, I think about how they brainwash people into not doing what we always have been, right? I don't like to use the word welfare because welfare is corrupt. You know, like that's one thing that the right is right about. That the welfare is corrupt. It's designed to give a person a fish, not to give them a fishing rod, some bait, and some know-how. And give them a little bit of fish so they don't starve. And so that's where the welfare system is crap. You know, they're basically making perpetual slaves out of people. But that word is what triggers that, though, right? But think about what the purpose of welfare, social services, actually, where it came from. Where did it come from? Think about that. It came from this need that we always had to take care of people. It came from that humanism stuff that's in all of us. It's in all of our DNA. It's in all of our genes. It's who we are. It's in our brains. That need to take care of people. And they took it and they structured it to put people on a plantation. Because that's what they did. They structured welfare so that it would keep people locked in fencing over there. And so people will vote or will do whatever you tell them to do because they have that dependency on the thing. And that's why it doesn't empower. The programs that come out of these welfare, and I used to be involved in social services, the programs that help people, they don't broadcast them. They don't broadcast them wide nor far. So there are ways, helping hands to help people step up, but they don't broadcast them because the system actually is designed to keep people on that plantation. That's why I say don't pick a side. Don't get rid of your triggers. Don't let these words trigger you. We've always taken care of each other. We always have. I don't care who you are. You go back far enough. You got a grandmother or grandfather who never closed the door in anybody's face. And for you to do that is something you really need to think about. You know, are you giving your grandparents, your great grandparents, the things that we all evolved to do? Are you doing those people justice? Or are you becoming the bastards that they always spoke bad about? We all help people. We always have. The word healthcare, like I said, it doesn't exist. It's stupid. Where did it come from? This evolved sense of need to just take care of each other. We never let people die. Never did. Your grandparents never did that. Never did. Your great grandparents. If your grandparents was fools, some of y'all got foolish grandparents. Drank a little too much brandy, drank too much moonshine. But you go back far enough, it's that collective humanism that we all work together to help each other. Because we had to. Because if I helped you, I knew you would probably come back and help me. And if I did that, it made me feel good. So get away from it. You know, and it's like, well, that's a left idea. No, it's not a left idea. It's not their idea. The left are some dummies who came along later and stole it. And they pretended to be for liberty, and they gave themselves the name liberals. And that's not what they are. They hate liberty. These concepts are as old as human nature. Always been there. We evolved to have these things, and they take these things and they say, you know what? Don't worry about it. You don't have to do that anymore. Government will do it. And they put a structure around it, and it sounds like a good idea to you, but we don't read the laws and don't realize that it's rigged. It's rigged to get this person over here to fight and get this person over here dependent. That's why we need a paradigm shift. That's why I'm on the paradigm shift. I'm not on the, you gonna vote? I have no idea. I can tell you who I'm not going to vote for. I can tell you that. That's the only thing I can tell you. I can tell you the clubs I'm not voting for. But I'm still debating in my head, and I'm still listening, watching y'all's posts and discussing with my friends and thinking about, are we really just giving consent to all of this? Are we really just giving consent to the liberal social engineering, the dumb social engineering ideas of forcing people to become who you want them to become? Are we giving in to the right's dumb ideas about not living a republic style life and walking us back into nationalism is a good idea? No, it's not. So I'm not sure if voting is the right thing. First job of government is to take care of all the needs of the people. Government doesn't do their job. So what is their job then? Well, Anthony, I don't know. Let me think about that. Is the first job of government to take care of its people? Can we reword that a little bit? Let's reword that. I think the first job of government is to do what the people tell them to do. How about that? How about the first job of their government? It's not, because when we say take care, it kind of makes it sound a little too plantationish. I'm feeling the plantation, brother. That's how I feel. I'm feeling the slave master. I don't want to feel that. It's not to take, because you're not taking care of me. You know, I'm a grown man. I don't need a government to take care of me. They can go, listen, they can go packing. I don't need them. But I lucked up, and I was born in a good family that gave me some things. There are people who do need them. The role of government is to do what we tell them to do. The problem is they divide us up so they don't have to do anything what anyone tells them to do. So unity is, I think, our first step. Like, we have to learn how to reunify with people. I'm still a big believer in small government. I always have been. I don't believe that they should take care of us. I think that they should do what we tell them to do. I think that they are there for our benefit. They're not there for their benefit in controlling us and taking care of us. I think that they can help us to help other people learn to take care of themselves, right? Like, we're in a place where, you know, if we go back to the don't let people die example, the, you know, welfare, I hate that word, but it's our place to unify right, left, everywhere, that everybody should have the ability, should be born with the right to be able to fend for themselves, no matter how much their parents had in the bank. I think most everybody would agree with that, but we don't stand on that. So I don't think it's their job to take care of us. I'm not sure, if that's what you meant, but it's to me, government is a very small thing that's in a very small place that can influence things for the benefit of everybody on our consent. And it's not that today. When the government becomes large, it will get to a point where it will think it's its job to rule you. I don't think it's their job to rule us. I think that as an adult, you're supposed to rule yourself. You're supposed to rule your own family. You're supposed to take care of yourself. And those who are born in places who couldn't do that, we need programs to get them to a place where they can take care of themselves, as opposed to programs that use them for votes, keep them in poverty so they can stay in power. Opt out of the clubs. Yes, Sandra, and that's unity. We got to opt out of these clubs. Brother Miko, good morning. We can't vote ourselves out of this mess. You can't make people stand united. Yeah, that's why, Miko, and that's my point. That's why, I'm not excited about the whole, who's going to run next. We're going to get Trump out, got to get the Republicans out. I'm not there because the Democrats are just as dirty. And so voting, I don't know that it helps. Until we go back and figure out what it means to be human, and being human are those humanistic characteristics that these legislation or the laws control us with. I think we have to go back to figuring out how to love our neighbors as much as we love ourselves, how to care for the kids around this world who are born into war zones that prop up our lifestyles. I think if we don't love ourselves, we don't love our neighbor, voting lives don't matter. Votes don't matter. If we aren't human, we might as well go extinct. It doesn't matter who's in control if we don't love each other. It doesn't matter at all. If we have no love for each other, and to me, the absence of love is hate. I was trying to think about that last week. We were posting about that. But the absence of love, people you don't love because you got selective love, I think the absence is hate, the vacuum. The vacuum is hate. And in that vacuum, you create survivalists. And when you create survivalists, they pick up guns. And when they want to pick up guns, the American government, hell yeah, gonna give them to them. You can pretend that they want to do gun control all you want. Hell no. American government gonna give you some guns. That's what they know. They know that violence and murder. They know that real well. So does the UK government. That's why they're still funneling weapons over in Saudi Arabia. Like everyone, the big thing on the news was the Hodeida port. Why is there a big fight for the Hodeida port? Why? Because food actually makes it to the people. People can actually fight an invader with food. So when they take that port, they can starve millions of more people. They can starve them. They can shut it down. That's why they want the port. That's why they're fighting so hard for that port, so they can starve the people into submission. Like I said, I'm all for freedom and not telling people what to do. I'm on the side of the Houthi homeowners. If you live there, that's your business. That's your town. You make the rules, not us. Government is not there to protect us. Nope, Sandra, government's not there to protect. And they can't protect us, and they won't protect us. Why would they protect us? When we're fearful, they own us. When we're scared and we can't protect ourselves and we need to vote away somebody else's rights, that's what they want. They don't want to protect us, and they never will. And that's why the FBI didn't respond to all of that nonsense in the shootings of in Charlottesville, all of that stuff. Whether you believe all the truths that came out in the news about them or not, they don't respond. They need you fearful. Now, mind you, it's not the FBI. It's not 99% of the FBI just good people. It's not them. It's not the caseworkers, the ones investigating the bank robberies, the ones who are going after the rapists and finding them. Those are us. Those are good people. When I say the FBI, I'm talking about the control structures, the 7th floor and above, the people you never really get to see, the ones who make it on TV, not the ones who are like earning the elbow grease doing things for people in the public. They want that fear. And that's why I think the television, the news makes everybody think that the country's falling apart, and it's not. I go outside, I see people who are happy. I see people who work together. And that's why I don't believe the news. I don't watch the news, because I think it's psychological warfare. They want to make you think that this is actually what's happening, and it's not. It's not. There's no race war. There's no craziness like that's happening. Bad things happen, and when they happen, they blast it all over the news to make you think that, and they make you fearful. So you back into your corner with your tribe, and it can make an intellectual do stupid things and say stupid things. I want my ancestors to look back on my records and see I unregistered to vote. Ellen, and that's a scary thing. Oh, is that a scary thing? But some of our ancestors, assuming we don't go extinct, they are going to look back and they're going to say some things. And maybe we need to think about that. Maybe we need to think about how they view us. Like, a couple months ago, I was thinking about, how would it feel if you had ancestors that were Nazis? Like, how would it feel looking back? Would you be proud of them? Would you be proud to let people know that this was your grandfather and this is what he did and he had a uniform and whatever? How are your ancestors going to look back at you? Are they going to look back and say, you know what? Grandmammy, she got it. She got it. She walked away from all of this and she fought all this toxic world crap, the things that we got to deal with today. She backed away from it. I'm looking at her Facebook post. Yeah, she was on it. She was a freedom fighter. You might go down, Ellen, in history as just one of the most popular people who actually figured it out and just tried to change the world on it. Or do we go down as someone who picked a side when everybody's being holocausted? Everybody. By the toxic world that we're building, the toxic world we refuse to take back from corporations. Not that corporations are a bad thing. They're a thing that's not controllable once they get beyond a certain size. They buy the governments. If you don't vote, it gets worse. If you do, you're complicit. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Brother Andrew, spot on. Which is why I don't know. That's why I'm just here in like no man's land. I'm still waiting for one of y'all intelligent people to tell me something, because where I am right now, I don't see myself voting, and I probably don't not see myself not voting. I don't know, because you're right. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I think that I'm waiting till we get to that time, and I'm gonna do a litmus test, I think, for the environment, and to see if my vote's gonna be more destructive or constructive. Fear immobilizes. Yes, it does, Mary. It backs people into a little corner and it makes them controllable. Just the same way it does governments. Hate comes from fear. Yes, Brother Titus, spot on. Thank you. Hate comes from fear. That's why you fight hate with love. You never fight hate with hate. And that's why people are like really lost in this world now. They don't understand that the hate that would cause kids to join gangs, it comes from somewhere. Right? Like you look at MS-13, you can fight MS-13 till you're blue in the face. Did you solve the toxic environment from where they come from? If you didn't, then you're just perpetuating. All you're doing is you're just waiting for the next MS-13 membership gang folks to sign up. To me, it's like the word we talked about a while back. We were talking about offense, right? When somebody offends you, words are offensive. When people do things to offend you, to me, it's a cry out. Like a lot of people, they just see something horrible and they want to attack the person. I don't see that. I see when bad things happen, you can get lost in the perpetuation of fighting the bad thing while the bad thing keeps getting manufactured, or you're a little deeper thinking and you think about, okay, where did that come from? Which is why my stance on Charlottesville was, for the longest time, was, we need to get the guy who drove the Mustang, put him in prison. We need to kill him. We need to hang him, injection, And I don't really even chime in on that argument. I accept that if I was born where he was born, I was taught what he was taught, I was given the fear he was given, I probably would have done the same thing he did. Because they're pretty much the same brain in his head, minus a few genes that are transgenerational, is the same brain that's in my head. I'm more interested in where did he come from? Are we still manufacturing kids with that fear that results in that hate? That's the position, brother. I think that's the position of a very wise person. Um, the G, my words were off. That's okay, Anthony. My words are always off. My words are off, brother Anthony. My grammar's off. My sentences. But I got my grammar police. I got my grammar police, boy. I say something, and I think it's funny. I'm gonna read your comment, but I gotta finish this. So I see someone shared one of my posts, and they were standing up at me like, yeah, but brother G, he just says stuff, and he tries to get you thinking about stuff. He doesn't focus on the grammar and English too much. I was laughing. I was like, oh my God, they're calling me retarded. That's okay. That's all right. I'm a computer scientist. I'm not a grammar person. My words are off. My commas are off. My periods are off. Everything. That's why I'm always trying to go back and try to clean up things. I'm always editing things. Thank goodness for that. And then sometimes I have a quick thought. My VTT. I use the voice to text and like real quick. I got to get this thought out. Ask a question. Hit send. And come back an hour later. How come? Nobody's looking at it. And I'd see all my grammar police that getting on me. But communication is everything, right? You don't have to communicate in the king's way. I'm not that good at communicating in the king's way. I'm not. I can. It's funny. Like my language is dependent on who I'm around, and it kind of shifts to that. If I'm in the hood, that's what you're gonna hear. If I'm in a corporate meeting, that's what you're gonna hear. Anyway, we communicate what is needed. Oh yeah, exactly, spot on. And this is the comment. We communicate what is needed. We all need each other. Government is agency to facilitate. Yes, absolutely. We don't tell government what's needed for quality. We do tell government what is needed for quality of our lives. Since they have stolen our future, they have enslaved us. And as you said, we are on a plantation. And government is our slave master. Sad to say. Spot on. We're saying the same thing, but I think we always are. I think you and I, we agree a hell of a lot. But seeing that, that's there. We're spot on. That they are there for our collective benefit. And I think people miss that, brother. I think they miss that government isn't there for one group's benefit. It's there for everybody's benefit. Everybody. That's why in the same sentence, I can blurt out, we need universal health care and gun rights. I can say that in the same sentence because I don't want anyone touching your right to have a life. Our government's very powerful. They have a lot of equipment. They can print money like you would not believe, which is insanity about the whole universal health care debate that we can't afford it. Of course, please. We print all the money we want to murder people. We can print money to not let people die. We can do it any day we want. The taxes don't have to go up. But same thing with gun rights. I'm not against guns. I'm very, very clear about that. I like guns, actually. I'm not like a gun nut or anything like that, but I like my neighbor is. I like one of my best friend is. Guns aren't a problem. People are the problem. The toxins that get in people's brains are the problem. The toxins that we inject them with, the toxins they're breathing in that lead them, the toxic environments we raise them that lead them to a place where they'll take a gun, point it at a human being and pull the trigger. That's the problem. So I'm not against the guns. That's why I say we always got to focus on the real problem. That's why people say I defend Trump. No, I don't defend Trump. I just deflect. He's not the problem. And what is the point of replacing him and just keep living in a toxic world? Just the person looks different. They don't have orange hair. What's the point, right? We tried a whole bunch, didn't we? Tried all the actors, and we tried politicians, we tried cowboys, we tried oil barons, we tried reality TV hosts, we tried Twitter thugs, we tried, my God, a constitutional lawyer, community organizer. We tried all of these people. Nothing changed. Definition of insanity. We've been attacking guns for the longest time. Nothing changed. Definition of insanity. We have to stand up for each other and use government for each other, not use government against each other. I think that's what I think I wanted to say on that. The last couple of comments and I'll go. We will be remembered as a plastic culture. Think about that. Yes, brother Mark, we will. Short of nature, that the bacteria that's eating the plastic, that Nature's cleaning up behind us, but you know, I think when the alien somebody comes here, we're all extinct. You're just gonna see plastic all over this planet. You know, it'll just be nature eventually will break it down. It'll restart life, but you know, it's definitely gonna have a challenge with the crap that we keep producing and dumping everywhere. Um, at the point of looking back, I believe they will erase everything traceable but stored secretly as they are now. I believe that, Carrie. If the wrong people win. You know, if the sick, psychopathic, elite, toxic elite that run everything now, if they win, then yeah, they're going to hide history the way they always have, the way they deleted the indigenous history, the way they deleted everything from, you know, the pyramids and the Egyptians and the Aborigines and all the cultures that learned to live together and work together and lived in gift-based societies. I mean, it all wasn't all peachy keen, you know, but they were evolving to learn to work together. And it's just, you can make more money and gain more power by colonizing a world, keeping everybody in fear, and keeping them fighting. You can make money doing that. You can't make money when people get along, get together, and don't want to rob each other and don't want to work for 60 hours a week fighting the poor for money that so that they can't have it so you can have more. So they'll probably hide it. I voted for people in the midterms. I left blank the lesser of the two evils. I will never vote again. Someone won. I will only vote for someone. I hear you, Christina. And my jury's still out. Like I said, I don't know enough. I don't know where we are enough. I have to wait till the election before I can kind of even start to think about if it's going to make any sense. If voting really changed anything, they'd make it illegal. Yes, Sharon, and I'm largely in that camp. If I were a billionaire who ran this world, controlled the political parties and the politicians and the nations and, you know, and the banks, I would eliminate anything that could change that. Just common sense. That's strategy. And so the idea that people can actually vote out corruption makes no sense to me. It makes no sense at all. It's just illogical, and the world doesn't work that way, never has. So this is why, again, I'm not in the fight the president, mad at the prime minister, all of this crazy stuff. I'm not in any of those camps because I know it's useless. It's always been useless, so it is useless, and it's completely illogical. It's not how the world works. You gotta open your mind enough and act like an adult and really think about how the world works to make a difference. I'm going to go stand outside the polling place with a sign that says, "Do you think your vote will count?" Ooh, Mary, be careful of the police, girl. Be careful, because powerful statements like that, they don't like to hear stuff like that. They don't really want anybody waking up and starting to pay attention. Video shut down, said it can't be played. I know, I'm probably talking about bad about voting, and they want people to vote. They want people tribal. Like, what I noticed, Mary, is that you're okay if you stay with your indoctrination, right? Like, people who control things, the leaders, they love the extreme sides. They'll go after any side breaker. Anybody taking down fencing in this human farming thing, they won't let that live. They're not going to let that ride. But if you want to be extreme on an extreme side, if you want to listen, you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, Christian, Jew, Muslim, middle class, lower class, prison class, if you fit in the box that they constructed for you, you're good to go. You're good to go. You're doing exactly what they want. But if you step outside of that, they punish you. If you step outside of the human cattle fencing, they're not going to let you rise. Like credit. If you pay your bills late, they love you. You pay your bills on time, they love you. But if you pay your bills ahead of time, it'll hurt your credit rating. Because we're always being guided. And they write the laws and how everything works to their benefit. It really is that methodical, and it's ingenious, the same way social engineering is. but they actually guide people through the farm the same way they guide the cattle. They need to keep the farm toxic because the toxic farm makes a lot of money. Cleaning up the farm, that doesn't make no money. Washing out the toxins, that doesn't make any money. That's why I said, and I'm going to end on the mirror because it always is the mirror. We have to change ourselves and not worry about anybody else changing. I'm not worried if I change anybody. I don't care. All I care about is if I'm doing the right thing. If I'm doing my job. That's all. I have one job on this planet as a human being, as a father, as a brother, sister, cousin, to 7 billion people. I got one job. And that's standing up for all of them. That's it. As long as I'm doing that, I'm good. Take me out, do whatever you want. Somebody said it takes courage. Doesn't take courage. I don't think there's anything great about that. I think that's the bare bones basic of just being a human. That's it. Doesn't take courage. It's just we have to remember who we are. And we got to stop telling kids at birth what they are. Got to get outside of the toxic world. And the only way we get outside of this toxic world is we stop supporting the people spreading the toxins. We stop being a part of the toxins. We stop being toxic. We start removing the toxins from our lives. We decide to be happy. We decide to live in joy. We decide to take care of everybody and not prioritize them because if we like their hair or their skin color, their eyes or their religion or the nation they are close to us. And we look out for everybody. The world is toxic in every way, socially, physically, chemically, biologically. We're destroying the planet. We're destroying each other. And our only way out, I think, is to fix ourselves and certainly to stop supporting of corporations that make money doing it. Gerard, love y'all to death. Y'all have a good day.